Movement prep. Let's play around with some new stuff. And we're going to work on our hips and our shoulders and our abs and our glutes and our breath and our skill work, all the good stuff in our movement prep. So let's going to do one. Hey, if you've ever done any part of any movement prep in the past and there's been a particular thing that you've loved doing and your body's felt great at it, you're more than welcome to do that before the movement prep starts, right? So when you're here 5 to 10 minutes early, like you should be, and you want to spend that 5 to 10 minutes doing extra preparation for exercise on something that makes your body feel good, I would highly recommend doing that. Because we're not getting younger and mobility is important, right? So one of the things we're going to work on is we're going to work on getting our abs and our posture going. So I'm going to have a kettlebell. I'm going to use the kettlebell for 2 different exercises in the movement prep. And the bell we're choosing is going to be a small, lighter bell. Basically, it's going to be the lightest thing you can't curl, right? So if I grab this bell and I can't bicep curl it, then that's a good weight to use, right? And but it's not supposed to be heavy at the same time. So a light bell that you can't bicep curl. And that'll be the appropriate bell for both of the things we're going to use for this movement prep. And we're going to do a version of the good morning. So the same thing we did our band around our back. We're going to do a backpack style core bracing drill and a little bit of a hamstring hip prep since we have deadlifts. You're going to grab the bell by the horns. You're going to put it back and you're just going to let it rest on your upper back and you're going to balance it with your arms. I'm going to put my feet into a nice good deadlifting position. From right here, I'm going to brace my abs like someone's about to kick me in the stomach. I'm going to keep my hips nice and high. I'm going to slowly send my butt back first. So the first action is butt back. And then I'm just going to lower, keeping my back flat, feel my hamstrings, and then stand. Butt back, chest up, abs on, hamstrings, stand. Okay? So this is a good morning, right? So I'm just hinging, feeling those hamstrings, feeling all of my 360 degrees of my core. I'm not flaring my rib, right? And then I'm standing. So this distance stays constant the entire time. Good? Okay. And then I will take that bell awkwardly back around to the front and I'll put it down. So that's going to be one of the movements. The other one is going to be a 90-90 to hip lift. So getting into those hips. We know 90-90. So this is our 90-90, right? So 90 degrees, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send my body up. So this is going to be kind of like the get up, right? I can use my bell or I can use a PP9K if I want to assist myself back up there if I want, or I can use no weight, okay? So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up and then I'm going to sit back down, okay? So I can use something to help me, right? And then I'm going to lower back down if I need to. So I can use a bell, I could use a PP9K, I could use a rack or a bike, whatever I have. I'm going to do so many on one side, and the instructor is going to say switch, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay? We may have a potential variation of that in the future where we add a little more motion to it, but for right now, that's all we're going to do. You're going to stay on one side until the instructor says to repeat to the other side. There will be no counting of reps during any of the movement prep. So that's going to get our hips going. If you need a thin pad, one of the big tiles, they're somewhere in the corners of the room, you can use that if you want some bracing to the floor so that you're not getting that contact to your knees if you need that. Okay. And then another exercise, single leg. So we're speaking of single leg stuff. Speaking of aging, right, we need the ability to jump. We need the ability to land. We need the ability to absorb force. We need to increase our level of balance. And one way we're going to practice that is single leg bounding. Depending on the instructor, depending on the day, you may have side to side, forward to back. You may have same leg, different leg. But one of the easiest ways, you can use your line on your tile, right here, or you can use a line in the mat, depending on how your room is set up. So it might look like something like both feet on the left side, float the right leg, and I'm just going to move, bounce, 1,000. Bounce, 1,000. Bounce, 1,000, okay? Or you may see something that's left, bounce, okay? Or you may see something that's right, balance, okay? Or you may see left to right to left balance. Every time you land absorb, it's 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. And it's really just that moving, stopping balance that's getting our brain to body connection that's going to increase our balance. As we age, we do not lose our balance because we age. We lose our balance because we stop practicing balancing. So it's important to continue that prep. I'm obviously barefoot. I think you should be barefoot because if you want your feet to be strong, you have to teach them to be strong, just like everything else. Okay? And then we also are going to get our shoulders going. So we're going to have a pike to kind of press. So a pike position, downward dog position, just hands and feet. All right, so this is a pike. I don't care if my heels are on the ground or off the ground, knees bent, knees straight. None of that really matters. Okay? Just do whatever feels good for your body. What I'm going to do is, just like in a pressing motion, right? If this is the end of my press, I'm going to prep that press. So that's the goal. And I'm going to get a little bit of hip, a little bit of hamstring, but most importantly, I'm going to pike. I'm going to take my left hand, I'm going to lock my right elbow, and I'm going to push my shoulder blade into my hip, creating space between my ear, and I'm just going to toe tap. I can shift, stack, stack, stack. Okay? I'm just getting a little bit of rotation through my core, a little bit of stretch. And the most important part is this shoulder. So this stacking position is the goal here. This moving hand is not the goal. So if I think about the end of a press, end of a dead hang, and my good overhead mobility, this is not good overhead mobility. I should be able to pack my shoulder and bring my arm overhead for a nice healthy posture and shoulder. And that's what we're practicing, right? Using your body. I'm pressing my chest to my thigh to create space from my hip to my hand. And this diagonal line is my goal. Getting my shoulder blade to rock back across the backside of my ribs is the goal. I'm using my weight to press that down. So you're going to alternate until the instructor says stop or rest. You may do multiple sets. So you may go 4 at a time and then rest and get your kind of like bearing back and then do it again. Just listen to the instructor and then don't move on. Don't stop until the instructor says stop or the instructor says go. So we've got 90-90s. We've got our single leg balance. We have our bell good morning. And then we have our pike. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to do some power production. So we're going to do ramping up of kettlebell swings. Again, same bell that you used the other one. This bell that's super light, but not so light that you can't curl it. Okay? You're going to get into one full set of swings, and you're just going to swing until the instructor says stop. The instructor is going to give you auto commands about the amount of power to use in your swing. So this can teach us how to use different amounts of power depending on the intention of the program, intention of the workout, intention of the bell, all these good fun variables. So we're going to set up for our swing. We're going to practice the hinge. All of this is going to be the same. Okay? So my hinge is going to be the exact same pattern every time. So I'm going to hinge back and hinge up, locked out. That's not going to change. The amount of power I push, kid in a swing set, I can kind of push the kid. I can push the kid a lot. I can push the kid hard, but my hands are the exact same motion. Same thing in our hips. The instructor's going to say 30, 60, 90s. So you're going to swing the bell for 30% effort. See, my hips are moving the same amount. Then they're going to say 60%, 90%, 30%. Rest. My hips did the exact same thing the entire time. The power I put into my hips changed. And that's going to be up to the instructor command. It might be 10 to 30 swings depending on the instructor, depending on the day. You may just go 30, 60, 90 once, or you may go back down, or you may just do 30, 60, 90, or you do 30, 60, 90 back to 30. Whatever the instructor says that day. But you're going to swing until the instructor says these words. Park the bell. When the instructor says park the bell, we're going to put that bell down safely with good posture. Okay? As power production increases, my range of motion to me does not increase. So if I say 90, that does not mean to push my hips forward and to lean back. It does not mean to get bigger with my motion. It means to make the same amount of motion have more power. Okay? That's going to be power production. That's going to be phenomenal practice for everyone to really learn what it feels like to produce power through that kettlebell, which is a nice, good ballistic exercise. Okay? And that's going to be the movement prep. If there are other things that you want to practice, say you still would love to do your dead hangs, go do them, right? Just because it's not on the board doesn't mean you can't do those things that make your body feel great.